Wrong button. God damn it. I love technology. There we go. Hey guys, welcome to RTW Rewind. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. I hope everybody's doing well all around the world, and thank you for being here. We are live on the Hameen Media Group YouTube page. I have a very special guest with me right now. He is in the business. He is a promoter. I got in trouble for calling him a promoter. He's a manager and a commentator in the Northeast for several Indy promotions. It is the one and only from Team JD, the leader of Team JD, Mr. Joe Davis. Joe, thanks for being here, brother. Appreciate you coming on.
Rad Rob, thank you so much for having Team JD on this awesome podcast. Really looking forward to it, and going to have some fun, I think.
We are, for sure. I've seen your work. I've seen your promos. You got the gift of gab, and I like talking to guys that are pretty articulate. So I'm looking forward to this one. What made you want to get into the sport of wrestling? Have you been a lifelong fan?
Oh, yeah. I've been a fan probably since I was about 7 years old, I'd have to say. All right. So about 1991-ish to date myself. And always been a lifelong fan, always been an entertainer. Personally, I started acting at 12, graduated in sports broadcasting. I did pro stand-up comedy for years, and I've always loved wrestling, always wanted to entertain. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I put it all together.
So how did you actually get into the business? Did you have any connections? Did you know anybody? Did you Google it? I mean, how would one get into the business in this day and age?
Well, in this day and age, I mean, we all have that story, right? And mine is I was mutual friends of a friend of a promoter named Keith Zimmer. And I just hit him up one day on Facebook, I believe it was, and said, hey, I just want to be involved. Anything. I'll carry ring boards. I'll put the ring together. I don't care. He said, yeah, come on down. Long story short, I got the time mixed up. Me and another guy were 3 hours early. The other guy ended up being the video and announcing now a commentator for the day. And his partner dropped out. He said, hey, you know anybody? I go, I sure do. And that was kind of it. And it kind of went from commentary to where we are today. That's a long story short, but.
I mean, that's really cool. It's, that's something I always wanted to do growing up. I've been a fan since around 88. And my friends and I used to wrestle in the backyard, and, I booked my own matches. I booked the territory. But I was also lazy, and I never really showed any initiative. I mean, my buddies and I were doing, the Hardy Boys thing back in the day, they made it based on having limited training, until they got to the dojo in WWF and started training there. But, I kicked myself in the ass because I've always wanted to be in the business. And I wish I had shown more initiative as a kid, to get into it. But like at this point, I'm 45 years old. I can't bump without throwing something out. But I mean, I would love to do a commentary or be a manager like you're doing. So you're living the dream, brother.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's never too late. I tell that to everybody I can. It's never too late. There's ways to get in, right? And you obviously have the gift of gab yourself because you do this, and I've seen your work. So never say never. I didn't start doing this wrestling thing till I was 31, 32, which I know doesn't sound old, but it's a lot older than most start.
Right. So explain Team JD and what it's about.
Yeah, I like to tell people we are not a faction. Okay, we're not a faction. We're not a stable. We're not a bunch of buddies. All right, we are a business. And what our business is about is getting titles and cash and checks. So what we're doing on the indie scene is, you know, we're not that NWO or a lot of these other factions. You're not going to see me come into a ring every single time with every single guy and 12 guys coming behind. All right. Because there could be weekends where half our team is somewhere and half our team somewhere else. Sometimes I do commentary while my guys are in the ring, you know. So we're a business, but we're united. And we all have that one goal, and that's to be the best at what we are. And so far, doing pretty damn well.
I love that because you can cover so many different territories and so many different promotions, just to get your name out there, you know, and get people wondering, what is Team JD? I love the logo. Actually, I mean, that's
oh, thank you.
That's great marketing.
Yeah.
And I love your promos. Like, have you always been like one of the talkative guys? Because like for me, I can trace it all the way back to school where my teacher's like, this kid never shuts the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I used to get kicked out of class from probably 5th grade on, just from talking too much. It was something. So yeah, but you know what was unique was, and my son has this quality. I have a 10-year-old that you could just be obnoxious in class, but then once in a while you hit that real funny zinger that even the teacher was like, all right, that was pretty good, and not get in trouble, you know? So it's always been there without a shadow of a doubt. My mouth has always gotten me in trouble, but it's always got me good places. So
me too, brother. Me too. I do have a couple regrets when it comes to my mouth, especially my mom. You know, but that's neither here nor there. So did you ever want to actually be a worker? Have you ever been trained in the ring?
Yeah, so I've gone through, I'm not going to say I'm fully trained by any stretch, because I'm not. But yeah, I have been through some training, know how to bump, you know, no basic things. It's funny though, because even at 7, and I wanted to be in this business as a kid, I never wanted to be a wrestler, believe it or not. I always wanted to be a commentator or a manager. And which is unique because all my other friends that were fans of wrestling as a kid, that's all you want to be. You want to be the wrestler. I never, ever once had the desire to actually be a wrestler.
Interesting. That's kind of where we differ. Well, I mean, my first love was wanting to be a wrestler, right? Because we all emulated people that we saw on TV. But again, like you, later in life, I had a deep respect for commentators. And what I love about podcasting and the technology that we have now, I'm able to talk to you. I'm able to talk to guys all over the country, all over the world. I'm also able to talk to some of my heroes. I've had Sean Mooney on the show. I've talked to Gary Michael Capetta, who used to announce the NWA. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to speak to a lot of the guys that I loved growing up. And I've always, as I've become older, always gravitated to the vocal side because again, I love to do podcasting. And even as a kid, if I had a little stereo or a little tape recorder, I was always doing something. I was always recording something or always doing event centers or trying to be Mean Gene and stuff like that. So I love it, dude. I love the fact that you got into it. Yeah. What's your game plan? Do you want to elevate your career and maybe go to a bigger promotion? Or are you doing it for fun? What's your end game?
I don't lie to anybody about this. My end game is to make it. I know that a very slim percent do that, and I get that. It's just, that's me. That's always been me. If I'm going to commit to something, it's all in. All right. Because if I make that commitment to myself, I'm going to try to make it to the very top I absolutely can. And hey, I have failed in ventures of life with that mindset. That's okay. But that is my aspirations is I want to make it. Now, do I think I'm there yet? No, I don't. But that's why you put the work in. That's why a lot of guys in independent wrestling, and I'm not busting them like at all, but they just really care about this on the weekends. Whereas you can ask my wife 7 nights a week, I'm working on something when it comes to this business. And that's what it takes, if not more.
So do you have any connections? Do you know anybody in the business to where you can get a tryout? Are you just trying to network and make more connections as you keep working?
Always. Yeah. I'm always networking. And I look at it as step by step, right? So do I think I'm going to go out tomorrow and be able to hit up somebody I know at, because I know a few guys that work in the bigger companies.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out and say, hey, can you bring me in? Can you bring me in? I want my work to speak for itself. I do network a lot, but I want my work to speak for itself. And that's when the companies are like, all right, yeah, we'll give you a shot. And I just look at that as another step. Okay. And each step, as long as I'm stepping up and forward, I'm happy. And so that's kind of how I do things.
I like that. Welcome everybody in the chat. We got 5 strong here right now. Nice. Adam Finch says, the great JD, I was just watching his YouTube stuff. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that.
Christopher Rodriguez says, so what you're saying is you don't do it because you love it. I mean, you do love it, but that's not why you do it.
No, I absolutely, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. Without a doubt. I'm just saying that, just loving something and having fun, that's not good enough for JD. Never has been. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to commit. I'm going all the way as much as I can. So yes, I do it because I love it. That's why, if I just wanted to try to be famous, why not try to be an actor or a singer? Well, I can't sing, but you know what I mean? I'm doing this because I love it. And yes, so I do absolutely love it.
What were who were your influences growing up? Like who have you patterned your career after when it comes to managerial stuff?
I try to be a mix of Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman, and Jimmy Hart.
It can't be those 3.
I mean, those are the 3 best, right? In my opinion, and go ahead and argue with me because there's not much of an argument. The ranking is whatever. But so I try to do that. But I think it's important because, I get asked that a lot. A lot of guys get asked that is, who are you going to try to be like? But, and I mix these guys up. But I promise you, I'm trying to be the first me. I never lose that, so I might take something from a Heenan or a Heyman or a Hart. But there's always JD mixed in every single time. And that's where a character, you are always developing that, right? Always developing that. The second you're happy with your work and the second you're happy with the character, you have already failed. I can promise you.
For sure. So let's break that down for a second. We all know the genius of Bobby Heenan. Not only was he super, super smart, never graduated high school.
Yeah.
But
stopped going to school by 8th grade.
Yeah, that's right. But he was so witty. I mean, he was born to entertain. So I can see where you'd want to pattern yourself after that. But I mean, he worked his ass off too. I mean, you had to think he's out there 4 or 5 times a night on some of these house shows, with all the Heenan family. So, I mean, he was an integral part of the WWF in its infancy to get them, to grow around the country. I still know Vern Gagne was very, very upset. Not only they lost half his territory,
wow,
like Mean Gene and Bobby were really the cogs that kind of ran that machine promotional wise. So then you look at who else you mentioned, Jimmy Hart. Yeah. You want to talk to the guy that never stopped working and never stopped talking, literally, like to this day. Like he's still putting himself over or putting his restaurant over, whatever. Like Jimmy. And he doesn't look a day over 40. You know what I mean?
Isn't it crazy? He hasn't aged since 1987, I don't think.
Right. So, I mean, obviously you like the talkers. You're not like, the Mr. Fuji kind of guy or even like Slick. Slick was a hell of a talker too.
Yeah, I liked Slick. It was funny. I just, for fun and games last night, I put a top 10 of my top 10 managers 1 through 10. And
I saw that. Yeah.
I got a lot of heat because I put Harvey Whippleman at number 10 instead of Slick, and people didn't like that.
Can you explain the reasoning behind that? Because I am curious as to why. I mean, it's all subjective, right? But I mean, why?
It's subjective. I think the reason I like the character of Harvey Whippleman is what's your job as a manager? It's to make your talent look as good, impressive, and as big as possible. You can't tell me you could get an average sized guy, put him next to Harvey Whippleman, and he'll make him look huge. And then if you pair him with some of those big guys, and plus I'm a little bit of a mark for the mid-90s. That stuff he used to do with Howard Finkel, the back and forth with those two.
True.
It sold me on Whippleman. Not any disrespect towards Slick or some other guys. Teddy Long, no disrespect at all. It's just I really always gravitated to Whippleman.
No, Bruno was great. And that's a great explanation. But again, like I said, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Get My Go wants to know which members of the Heenan family does JD think are underrated?
Oh boy. Of the Heenan family, I think that Dino Bravo Or no, he was Hart. I'm sorry.
Jimmy Hart. Yeah.
He was Hart. Gosh, that was underrated.
Anybody you think of off the top?
I mean, off the top of my head, with the Heenan fam, I'm trying to think, was Hercules one of his guys?
Originally, yes.
I think early on it was.
Yeah,
I thought Hercules should have always gotten a bigger push than he ever did.
Yeah.
But it's tough to say underrated for Heenan family because, man, if you got put with Heenan and you're in the family, you usually made it, right? Like, there's not many that you can say underrated because they were good. I'm sure there's some if I gave it some time, but that was a great question.
Yeah, I mean, you had King Kong Bundy, who's in the main event of WrestleMania 2. Yeah. You had Andre, obviously, who's in the main event of WrestleMania 3. You had King Haku. They put him over as a solid mid-carder.
Yeah.
Who else do we have? We had, obviously, the Brainbusters were an incredible tag team. They were WWF Tag Team Champions when they came in. Rick Rude, obviously Intercontinental Champion, fought
Mr. Perfect. He had Ric Flair.
Yep.
I mean,
So
who's who?
Right. So I guess you could say they were all perfectly rated, and that's right, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think so. I've always wanted to see Mr. Perfect get that world championship run that never happened, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mike Durban says, "Don't be a mark, leave a mark."
I like it, Mike.
That's true.
I like it.
Chris Rodriguez, top 5 of the worst gimmicks of the Heenan family.
Worst gimmicks?
I don't know if that's a tough one because, like we said, everybody was over.
I mean, everybody was pretty darn good. I mean, I never was a huge fan of the Brainbusters, if I got to be honest.
Uh-oh. All right, well, you might have some heat with me.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like,
all right, so
I'm getting kicked off the show. My feed's about to get cut.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. You can follow me on Twitter. I was a fan of their work in the Crockett's.
Yeah,
when they came up to WWF. Putting them with Heenan was good, but they were good enough talkers and characters as it is. I don't think they needed Bobby Heenan. I think they may have been a little bit watered down. And while they were WWF Tag Team Champions, the Rockers beat them quite frequently towards the end of their run. I mean, the Bushwhackers were kind of over the top on them. So I don't think their run was that great, but I still think they're one of the most solid tag teams you'll.
No, then you misunderstood. Their ring work I was a fan of. No issue with that. My thing is they were tag champs, right? And they were supposed to be a main tag team.
Right.
Did WWF ever do anything to really spotlight them like they did the Rockers, like they did the Hart Foundation? If you would have done that, I probably would have loved them.
Right. Cue Bret Armstrong's theme. The show is over. We're going to keep going. I understand. And you can't necessarily blame that on Tully and Arn.
No, not at all.
That's more the booking of Pat and Bruce and Vince. So did you go back and watch any of their stuff? Or, you grew up in the Northeast, obviously, as I did, right? So yeah. I'm assuming you were WWF Mark. Did you have access to any of the NWA stuff?
No, I didn't. I really didn't because, back in those days, it's like you get what's on TV and what you can, record on your tapes. And actually I grew up at that time. I lived in Pittsburgh. So really it was the WWF product. And then we did get WCW stuff, but of course, early 90s, I wasn't watching WCW.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, around 89, I had access to TBS. That's when I first saw it. And, I saw the Flair and Steamboat stuff and I was hooked, because I was used to the bigger, larger than life characters. And then seeing this different style of wrestling, which I had heard of through the After magazines, through PWI and the Wrestler and all that stuff. When I finally saw them on TV, I was like, oh, that's who these guys are. Yeah. And then, I got every pay-per-view that year because I was hooked on Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat and then Flair and Funk, which carried out to the rest of the year. Dude, you want to talk about some legendary matches? Obviously,
some of that stuff back then, because I watch it now. Obviously, I have access to it.
Right.
And it's just, you look at, especially once you're in this business, right? And I'm not a wrestler, but I watch my guys, and I love my guys. But when you are watching that caliber, and you actually know the business a little bit, you're like, my God, these guys were so good. It's ridiculous.
Right. No, absolutely right. Did you ever live in Pittsburgh? Mike Durban wants to know. Did you have a terrible towel? Are you a Steelers fan?
I hate every sports team in Pittsburgh.
God bless you.
Yeah, I hate them all. I was born initially in Norfolk, Virginia, so I am a Redskins fan. Oh, Washington football team. Football team. Sorry.
Okay.
I apologize. So yeah, definitely never had a terrible towel.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Well, then who are your rooting interests then? As you've gotten older, have you changed? Do you like anybody out of New York since you are based out of New York now? Or
hockey? I'm a Rangers fan.
Okay.
Weird story. I'm in baseball. I'm a Cubs fan. I don't follow the NBA.
I don't either. Not anymore.
Yeah. So, but yeah, really the Washington football team and Cubs and Rangers.
Gotcha. Chris Karen wants to know, did you think Akeem was trying to be an African-American from Africa? Dude, what was up with that gimmick? For real? Like,
it was interesting. He did as well as he could.
He could.
I mean, come on. Like,
do you think it was a rib on Dusty Rhodes? Obviously, that seems to be the story going around. I think Pritchard might have even admitted to that.
Yeah, I think his mannerisms and when you heard him talk and his hand movements and things like that, there was something there. It wasn't super obvious, but it didn't take long to look at it and be like, oh, I see what you're doing.
Were you a fan of the Attitude Era? Were you still watching? Have you always been watching the business? Did you take any breaks during a while?
No, I watched it all the way through. And of course, I love it. I mean, you got to realize for me, the Attitude Era hit in, we call it like 97-ish. I know there's debates, but in 97, I'm 13 years old. Like, this is me. Like, DX is coming out when I'm a freshman in high school. You better believe I had my DX shirt. I had the necklace. I had the boxers, and I was going around to my teachers screaming, suck it all the time. Like, the Attitude Era, like, that was just, I was always into it. But then everybody else in school is now wearing these Austin 316 shirts. Right. And I'm like, that guy's a piece of garbage because I'm a Bret Hart fan. And I'm like, I can talk you circles around you in wrestling. You just started watching it. But yeah, Attitude Era, loved it.
I mean, that was a big boom period. Yeah, I mean, literally everybody that, even the casual fan tuned in and saw this guy drinking beer and flipping everybody off and beating up the boss. Who wouldn't love that? We are going to get to Bret Hart in a second because I know that is the main topic of this broadcast. But we do have some other questions coming in. Christopher Rodriguez wants to know, speaking of JD's guys, who is his Genetti? Which one is most likely to be turned on by his stable?
Oh, the one-eyed Jedi, LJ Thomas, without a doubt, a moron. I don't know how he's still in our group. We tried to kick him out, but he somehow has weaseled his way back in. I don't know how it is.
Where did the descent start there?
He's you ever have that annoying little brother that it stops being cute a long time ago, but he still wants to hang out with you?
Pretty much my old podcast. Partner. Yeah.
That's LJ. That's the annoying little brother. But then he's nice to you, and you're like, oh, we'll keep him around. But then he does stupid things, and you're like, all right, why haven't we beat him up yet?
That's a good question.
So yeah, that's your answer.
Will Team JD be visiting the country of Africa once restrictions are lifted? Are you guys going to go international?
I mean, we would love to. We actually had before COVID hit some stuff in Canada. I know that's not Africa, but we had some bookings lined up that, of course, have gotten canceled and not rescheduled yet. Mm-hmm. Don't see Africa on the horizon, although I don't know if they have shows in Africa. Maybe I'll have to look into it.
You never know. Team JD might get over in Africa.
Why not? Right? Sure. Never been.
Chris Karen wants to know, do you like going to the Hood for Popeye's chicken sandwiches?
I did it for lunch today, my man.
No shit. What are the odds? All right. What did you get?
I got the original chicken sandwich, and then I got a quarter pound of the popcorn shrimp.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you tried other chicken sandwiches? I mean, there's a chicken sandwich craze going on right now. This show always goes off the fucking rails, so we may never ever stay on topic. But have you tried other chicken sandwiches?
Every single place that offers one, I've tried.
Is Popeye's your favorite?
Yes.
Have you tried KFC's yet?
Yes.
It's very good.
It's not bad. Now the only place, but we don't have a Chick-fil-A anywhere near us.
Gotcha.
But I have had Chick-fil-A in the past, so if I had to choose between Chick-fil-A and Popeyes, I'd say Chick-fil-A just because I remember how good it was.
Right.
But we literally don't have one within 150, 200 miles.
That's unfortunate. See, being in Middle Tennessee now, I'm fortunate. I'm glad my wife was from here because there's so much food here, and we literally have access to just about everything. Hardee's just came out with one. And I don't think you have any Hardee's up north.
Yeah, we don't have any Hardee's by us either.
Do you have Sonic? I know Sonic was branching out.
Yeah,
okay.
We got Sonic. I like Sonic.
They're good. Burger King's newest chicken sandwich, in my opinion, at least a spicy version, is better than Popeyes. If you haven't tried it yet, I suggest it.
I can't do spice.
Oh, you can't do spice. Okay.
Yeah. You know who was surprisingly decent was McDonald's.
Yeah, I agree.
I was surprised.
I was surprised too because they always half-ass whatever they put up.
McDonald's. I mean, it freaking sucks. You know.
Exactly. It's 10 strong here in the chat. We have more questions for JD. Ethan Canuck, Team JD in the house, bro. You gotta come to Canada. Yeah, we were just talking.
We were just talking about that. I know we had a couple. There were smaller towns, but I know outside of Toronto, and then there was, I want to say towards Montreal-ish was the other one. So hopefully those shows are going to get going again. I know Canada's still a little shut down in a lot of places, but
they are.
You know, hopefully once that opens up, I will be up there and we will let you know, my man.
Mike Durban wants to know, what is JD's favorite Bon Jovi song to sing at karaoke? Well, I know you said you don't or you can't sing.
I can't.
You'd like to sing. Do you get drunk, go out to a bar and do karaoke?
I've done it. Usually if I do that, it's rapping Eminem, which I have a surprising talent for that somehow.
We need the Team JD rap album then. We do.
All right. I mean, WWF did it.
That's true. Vince McMahon can get out there and sing and dance. Yeah. Anybody can.
Absolutely.
Chris Karam says, y'all got Whataburger in Nashville now. We are getting them this year, Chris, which I'm excited about. Chris Rodriguez prefers to pass their chicken Jesus. I love Chick-fil-A, and I hope you guys do get them up north because it really is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. The waffle fry, I mean, their sauce.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Family Fun Network. Yo, JD, go to Chooks to go if you're ever in the Philippines. Amazing chicken. Well, I don't know.
All right.
You guys are killing me tonight.
If I remember that, and if I ever go to the Philippines, I'm not going to remember that, really.
I'll remind you. All right. Do you enjoy cookies and cream milkshakes from Chick-fil-A? Mike, I do. I actually do. You have them. You got Chick-fil-A in Chicago, Mike? I didn't know that. I didn't think they went up north at all. Actually, you know what? I let me strike that. I do have family back home in Connecticut that said that they do have one up there. So, hey, maybe you will get one out in New York or Pennsylvania whenever you're around.
We had one years ago. The only one in New York State at one point in time was, and I'm not joking, was at the cafeteria of my college campus in Cortland, New York.
Interesting. You know, they were like only in malls, like growing up in the 80s and 90s. Like they didn't have any brick and mortars outside. They were typically in food courts of malls.
Right.
Back in the day. Holy shit, Disco Inferno in the house. What a schmuck Team JD is. He stinks. You guys are a bunch of louses, especially Durban.
Well, jealousy is an ugly color. And hey, I get messages like that all the time.
I'm sure you do.
So trust me, I got pretty tough skin. So it doesn't really concern me. And if you really go out of your way to message me and hate me, I'm pretty much doing my job, I think.
I mean, that's right. I mean, I'm assuming you're a heel manager if you want to.
Yeah. If you want to say that, I guess
thank you, Disco, for the comment. You don't talk about a guy that was so over, on Nitro back in the day.
Yeah,
no, he was. I can't argue. He was, he was one of the greatest cruiserweight champions of all time. I'm sure Hulk held him down, brother.
Yeah.
Best chicken is Nando's. I don't know anything about that, Chris. Someone needs to go to 80. Someone needs 86 Disco. Hey, no, everybody is welcome here in the chat. Anybody can ask whatever questions they want or make comments. We are a very interactive podcast. So if anybody has anything to say, I mean, you're pretty much hijacking the show anyway.
And Disco, if you want to look me up on Facebook, but I'm not hard to find. I'm not. We can have a conversation anytime you want, my friend.
He's not hard to find either with that giant nose. You know what I mean?
Well,
yeah. So anyway, so we are here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Who we got now? J5. What up, everybody? Can't wait to see what Team JD does now that the lockdowns are done. I heard JD was doing some podcasts. Is it on Hameen or Russo?
Dude, I can't keep track. I can't. I'm not trying to be an arrogant prick. I got some lined up, and I've done 7 or 8 in the past 3 or 4 weeks. But you know, I don't want to distract from whatever podcast I'm currently doing. So there's no way I'm going to promote another podcast, what I've done before, what I'm doing now, when I have my time and focus on you.
Well, I appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
that's professional.
That's
right
business.
Most underrated Hart brother.
Man, that's like having me trash my family.
Okay, so you're not just a Bret fan. You respect the entire Hart clan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as far as the ones that worked in the ring, I mean, I liked them all. I guess Bruce would be my pick.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. I thought Bruce was too much of a hothead, to be quite honest. But
yeah, I mean, I didn't hate his work. I just if you're gonna tell me I gotta pick one, that's who I'm picking.
What's up, Sonic? Welcome to the chat. We are 15 strong here in the chat.
Nice.
Welcome, everybody. So yes, that's a great segue to talk about your favorite wrestler.
Yeah,
which we're gonna have a little bit of more heat with.
All right.
Admittedly, I am a Shawn Michaels guy, and I always have been. The Rockers were my favorite tag team. They were the ones that actually got me interested in watching wrestling when I saw them in the AWA in '88 as the Midnight Rockers.
All right.
So when they came over to WWF, I was hooked. And Marty, a great worker in his own right.
Yeah.
He was kind of his own worst enemy, but it was something about Shawn, even back then, I don't know, that just drew my attention to him. Followed him his entire career. I don't dislike Bret Hart. I absolutely respect him in the ring, but I do have a lot of Bret Hart friends that we argue about who is the better in-ring performer. They're both Hall of Famers, obviously, both tremendous technicians. Shawn obviously is a little bit more flamboyant than Bret. Bret was more hard knocks and let's get down to business. Obviously, we know the attitude problems of Shawn back in the day. But see, he kind of changed his attitude, and to me, Bret's still kind of a dick.
Yeah, well, here's the reality. Bret Hart will always be my favorite, and I don't know if it's a childhood thing or what. Okay, but I will say a couple things in response to what you just said. Best in-ring performer of all time is Shawn Michaels.
Okay,
all right, we can agree on that. Bret Hart is a bitter kind of jerk at times, but he's my boy. And I got to stick up for my boy. And that's, I think I showed you. I still have my original Bret Hart Hasbro from when I was 9 years old. This is the exact one. I also got my Funko hanging out with us too.
Nice.
So yes, Bret Hart is the only wrestler that I actually am fully mark for. And I can admit that, I think we all got to have that one or two, because I've worked with a lot of guys that have been on TV, have made it big, and I don't mark out. I just don't. I'm polite. I do business, whatever. Bret Hart walked in that locker room. I don't know. I probably could contain it, but it'd be tough.
I'm a little pissed because I was actually supposed to meet Bret. He was going to do a show for Big Time Wrestling in Spartanburg, South Carolina a couple years ago, but his vacation was in the way. He apparently forgot that he was booked and said, "Oh, sorry, I got to go on vacation," and he didn't show up. So he's got some heat with me because I did want to meet him and shake his hand and get the picture taken with him. But I'm a little pissed off with that. Comments are flying here in the chat, Joe.
All right, let's what we got? What do we got?
Chris Karen wants to know: have you ever done shots with Marty Jannetty? Well, Marty's been everywhere. Have you ever been able to meet him?
Me? No. I have never had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Marty.
I have. He's actually a cool dude. He did.
He seems all right. I mean, I know he's gone off the rock
when he's straight. When he's sober, he's good.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I met him at a convention that Just Incredible had in Connecticut in 2009. Icons of Pro Wrestling, and he was a cool dude.
Okay.
IB exclusives. What's up, Chad? Who had the better WWF ice cream bar image, Bret or Shawn?
Boy, gosh, I remember Bret's. I don't remember Shawn's.
I don't either. I don't know if there was one.
So I can't give that a good answer.
Yeah. Ethan Canuck says Bret Hart is the man. Shawn is Mr. WrestleMania, but Hart is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Who has the lasting legacy when it comes to both guys? I mean, are they on the same level? I mean, obviously you said Shawn's the better in-ring performer, but I mean, like, overall lasting legacy, you look at the quality of their work. Obviously, there weren't any holes in Bret's work. I mean, he worked snug. Everything he did look believable. Sean could be difficult to work with at some points. Obviously, you remember the Hulk Hogan match from SummerSlam when he was overselling and bumping all over the place just to prove a point.
Yeah.
So if you had to rate them, who would you rate higher as far as overall in-ring work, knowing what you know in the business?
I mean, still it's Sean, mainly just because, like, for Bret Hart, he had to work that technical style match, right? And he was the best at it. However, Sean could work almost any kind of match you wanted. Right. If you wanted Sean, I mean, look at WrestleMania 12. For 40 minutes of that first part of that match, Sean was technically wrestling, right?
Right.
He can go aerial. You've seen the stuff he did with Triple H. That was that real, just hardcore, rough stuff. I mean, he's so versatile. Whereas Bret Hart is great, but you got to have a Bret Hart style match, I think.
True. I can't argue with that. Dude, I wish Bret and Chris Benoit in their prime would have gotten together, in the WWE. Obviously they're on two different, I wouldn't say generations, but I think they're about 10.
It wouldn't have matched. It wouldn't have matched at the time. Yeah.
You don't think so?
I mean, they would have pulled it off. Don't get me wrong. Those two definitely would have pulled it off. But I just don't know what kind of story you could have gotten behind it or what kind of run it could have had.
Benoit being trained in the dungeon too. I mean, there could have been some deceit there, I guess. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like one was jealous of the other. But I mean, both pretty much, I don't want to say the same wrestler, but they have a lot of similarities, especially with the snap suplexes and stuff like that.
And I mean, we could spend another hour talking about why Bret didn't succeed in WCW, but
yeah, true. Yeah, we don't have to go there. We don't have to go there. IB Exclusive wants to know: do you think Marty Jannetty should have won a world title?
I don't. I think his Intercontinental run later on was good. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But no, I think he was good with tag and Intercontinental.
Sean's ice cream always melted too quick and made you lose your smile. That is the pop of the night.
That's a great line. I can't. All
right. If Goldberg walked into the locker room, what would you say to him for ending Bret's career?
I bet you, and I'm not even kidding, and I might be intimidated. It's flipping Goldberg.
Right,
I would say something. I don't know. Be like, hey, thanks for retirement, my favorite guy ever. Or, I don't know. It'd probably be something smart ass.
I mean, obviously mistakes happen in the ring. I know Bret had a lot of heat with Goldberg because Goldberg never really apologized until years later.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't on purpose. Like, no one thinks that. But, Goldberg had a reputation, from what I've heard, of hurting guys.
Yeah.
Bret was not the only one. You hear that stuff all the time. That's why to this day, the current guys don't love when Goldberg's there. That reputation, precedes him.
Right. For sure. IB Exclusive wants to know, or says, Sean definitely showed more monumental dickheadery during that time. Yeah, Sean was very, very
tough to work with. I mean, from everything you've got to believe I have seen every documentary I think that has been produced when it comes to Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels.
Right. And
Sean will even tell you how much of a jerk he was. Whereas Bret was a jerk, but didn't tell anybody. That he didn't admit to it, I guess I should say.
That's true. I mean, was Sean just that damn good as to why he was able to get away with everything he got? I mean, being, whether it's messed up in the ring or in Vince's office, drugged out of his gore.
Yeah. I mean, he would have been fired if he wasn't that good. He would have.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, some people will say, if you just want to quit drugs or stop drinking, then just stop drinking. But I mean, it's not that easy.
It's if you have an addiction or something of that nature, drugs, alcohol, whatever the case may be, it's not that easy until you make that conscious decision to want to do it and take the steps to do it, which he proved he did, and he came back, and we got to see a great Shawn Michaels after that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I'm not only, was he great after he got saved, but I mean, obviously he was also sober as well. I mean, he pretty much had a longer run when he came back than he did the first time, which is remarkable.
Yeah, especially because after he hurt his back at the Royal Rumble in 1998 against The Undertaker in that casket match, they really thought, like, we're going to get you to WrestleMania, and that's it. Like, his doctor was like, you're done.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn it, no, I'm not. And he wasn't, and it was great.
Yeah, absolutely right. Ninja Boy Braden, what up, JD? Just heard some podcasts 2 weeks back when you were doing with JP. I became a big fan. You're a great talker. Love the Twitter news updates. You have a great character.
Awesome. I don't use Twitter, so I think you're getting me confused.
Maybe that's possible.
Although I do talk a lot on social media as far as like Facebook, and it's linked to Instagram. So maybe that might be, I don't know, maybe it's linked to my Twitter. I have a Twitter. I don't use it. So maybe it's actually linked. You know what? My apologies. Maybe you are seeing stuff on Twitter.
Get my ghosts. His thoughts and prayers go out to Buff Bagwell.
Yes.
God, he's in a tough spot.
Yeah, that's hard. It's from what I've never met him personally. Heard he's
a nice
dude.
guy. I met him in South Carolina at a big time wrestling show, and he was so nice to everybody. It's really unfortunate. I mean, there's some guys that go on podcasts and they'll make fun of guys like him, or make fun of Marty for being always in out of jail, or Sonny. I mean, what kind of an asshole would pick on somebody that obviously either have, an addiction problem, or always in trouble in jail, or have a mental issue? I mean, dude, there's one podcast where this guy is actually like a mental health counselor, but even he's made jokes about Sonny being in and out of jail or doing porn and stuff like that. Like, you really have to be a low life to make fun of people like that. You know what I mean?
We have all dealt with shit in our lives. We have all been through those rough patches, and we have all made mistakes. So that's why I learned a long time ago to stay humble and stay in your lane, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's not my business, and you just hope the best for people.
That's smart advice. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to wish ill on anybody.
No.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Awesome Liam says, just came across this channel. It's funny. JD is on. He's a funny guy.
I did.
Is that one of your guys? Did you have one of your boys come in here just to?
No, man, I don't. I love getting new fans. I don't recognize the names, but I super love it. That's awesome. I was a professional stand-up comedian for about 6 years, so I try to be funny sometimes.
Were you really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, you're a jack of all trades.
I tried performing with Jim Gaffigan, TJ Miller, some good names. So yeah,
I love Jim Gaffigan. Oh,
yeah,
Jesus,
funny guy. Yep,
he's very, very funny. Get my ghost says we all just need to find out what inspires us.
Absolutely, inspiration can carry you.
And Twitter is toxic. That is very, very true. You're probably doing yourself a service by not being on Twitter, because if you get into the wrestling Twitter bubble, you can never get out. You'll get sucked.
I'm not there as far as I know. I'm not in it, but maybe I am. I don't
maybe
know.
There's somebody impersonating JD that's out there.
You can try, but there's one original, man.
IB Exclusive wants to know, I wonder how Montreal would have gone down with Nick Patrick as the ref instead of Earl Hebner. See,
it would have been any different.
But Bret trusted Earl, and that's kind of where I know Earl was a company guy and he was put in a horrible spot, but Bret point blank had, he asked him, I'm sure you saw Wrestling with Shadows. Yeah. Earl, did you know about it? He's like, no, Bret, I swear to God, I didn't know anything about it. That's hard, dude. And I understand Earl later on in life, making shirts like I screwed Bret and whatever. I mean, by then it was already over, but dude, if you trust a guy like that, especially someone like Earl, who is the head referee and is an integral part of the show, to lie to him, I mean, you can't blame Earl for that, right?
No, I don't. And Bret doesn't. Bret to this day says, I don't blame Earl. I would have done the same thing. Bret has said that in several interviews. And I probably would have too. If I'm being honest, if I'm 10 minutes before a show or 15 minutes and I got Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels saying, you're going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. What can you do,
That's true. This is a very random question. Does JD prefer shopping at Target or Walmart?
I freaking hate Walmart. Oh my God. Yeah. I don't want to get into it. Target.
Especially people that work there. I mean, no offense to anybody that works there, but
Target. Target.
I'm a Target guy too. Joe Feeney's in the house. TJ Miller lied about 9/11.
I don't know. Did you follow that comment? I won't get into it, but that's funny.
Joe's a Pennsylvania guy, so maybe just something I missed. He can eat a big fat bird.
Hey, he was a funny comedian, and a nice guy. We called him Dead Eyes.
It's comedian. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's a comedian. TJ Miller's a comedian. He was the lead actor in. Do you remember that horrible Emoji movie?
Yes, I do.
He was the lead guy in that. And you've seen him in other things. You just don't realize you've seen him.
Yeah. I got you. Joe's humor is usually over my head anyway. Nick Patrick, that son of a bitch. Dude,
I love that character, though.
I do too. And I thought, now, some people are like, and I don't know if you watch AEW at all now.
Yeah.
Aubrey Edwards seems to like to get herself over at the expense of some of the talent she's in the ring with. If it's done the right way and it's part of the angle, I can see it. But I kind of think Aubrey's going into business for herself. What are your thoughts on the talent trying to get themselves over?
You're not wrong. Okay. However, see, I'm not a referee, right? Like I want to get myself over and I want to get the guys over. So I can't speak from a referee standpoint. I don't have a problem with what she's doing. And here's why. I think it's not so much she's trying to just get herself over. I think she's trying, just like this women's revolution has been for years. It's now happening with reffing, right? Yeah. So I think she's trying to make it so people are like, okay, female refs can be right up in the guy's face, just like guys can be. And I think that part's okay. I think it does go over the line once in a while. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think I get why she's doing it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she's just trying to get herself over.
I don't know. It's just, as long as I've been watching wrestling, it seems to me that she's just going into business for herself. I could be wrong as well. But to me, it turns me off. Like, I don't want to see that. Focus on the talent in the ring, that you're part of the show, that you're trying to get over. As opposed to getting yourself over. But I mean, that's just me. I'm old. So
there's a female ref, and pardon me, I don't remember her name, in NXT. And she is legit and really good, and I love her work. So she's kind of doing the same thing, but not really getting herself over. Yeah. But she's still making waves. And I apologize because I don't remember her name. So somebody out there has that name, drop it, because I forgot.
Okay. Who gives a shit enough to be obsessed with Nick Patrick?
No, obsessed.
No, I know. I heard a podcast lately, and I think I know who he's talking about. Where I don't know if it's just some kind of it might be a lame bit, Joe, where they're going. I don't know. They have heat with Nick Patrick for some reason, but it's like, I don't know. It's a running joke on the show. Not many people listen to it anyway. But there's a Tony Toxic comment here. Hold on. Only thing more toxic that Twitter is JD's champ, Tony Toxic.
Yes,
wow,
he is.
Tony.
Yeah, Tony, he's a heat seeker, man. We call him our furnace, because everywhere we walk into, he just gets heat.
I like that.
Everywhere.
Joe Feeney says, I beat Tony Toxic in the backyard in 2002. Congratulations, Joe.
That would have been illegal. He was like 14.
Does JD think Walmart shoppers are filthy pigs?
I'm not admitting that.
Okay. At least not public.
No.
Tony had to do the job for the BYP title. He tapped out to my sedative finisher.
Oh my gosh.
Joe, you're killing me. Nick Patrick reads children's Bibles. Dude, my chat, I have the weirdest fans in the world. I really
That's all right. I've seen weirder, although they're fun, they're interactive. Like you got to be proud of that.
Yeah. No, for sure. And they always hijack my shows. I stand Crazy Eddie Wild character. I don't know who that is, Joe.
And grammar helps, Joe.
Yeah, that's fair. Construction says, JD, what up? Great talker. That seems to be the word going around. Is
that's awesome.
Your promos.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate that very much. Always work hard and trying to get better at it. But yeah, it's great getting seeing a lot of people that I don't know their names that have been seeing my stuff. So that's great. We're getting out there.
Yeah, no, I mean, dude, and this is, free promotion for you too. I love to help out guys that, that are into business or in indies. Anybody that wants to come on, I'm always trying to put people over because it's all one big family, right? The wrestling community. So anything we can do to help each other out. I mean, it's, I have no problem putting people over. Midnight Mike's in the house. What up, Mike? Jessica Carr is the lady ref in NXT. Thank you, Bobo.
Thank you. All right, cool.
Joe Feeney says, I'm coming to Western PA to take Toxic's title in a shizoot.
I have strong confidence, Joe, that from your sentences, you couldn't read a map enough to get here.
Ooh, shots fired. Mike Durband. Have you ever walked Dan Severn to the ring? Have you ever met Dan?
Dan is another one I had. Wait, did I meet Dan?
He's a tough son of a bitch.
I don't think I did. Who did I meet? It wasn't Dan. No, I didn't meet Dan.
Okay. Mother MMA guy, I guess.
Yeah. I can't remember who.
Does JD have more than one home? How well is JD doing? Are you living large?
Oh man, let's see. We got this home. We got our cabin. So that's pretty awesome. We got our beach house in the Outer Banks.
Nice.
I guess, honey, we only got 3 houses, right? Yeah, we got 3 right now. We sold one last year.
Okay, so you're slumming it a little bit,
Yeah,
but I mean, you'll let your way back up there.
We'll get back. Hey, the pandemic was tough on all of us.
That is true. That is absolutely right. Eli Brazil says, I've only seen you on one Facebook live stream. Okay, well, at least he saw you somewhere. I mean, that's cool, right?
Hey, that's one more than some people.
Joe, are you drunk? Not you, Joe Feeney.
I was going to say, I'm not.
I'll read your obituary. I think Feeney's been hitting the sauce a little
That's
bit.
all right.
Hi, Dan. I'm JD. Yeah, I guess he never met Dan, Mike. Is JD number 13 in Brazil? I don't know. We were just talking about, going to Africa and maybe the Philippines. I mean,
you guys want me in Brazil now?
Apparently, once the travel restrictions are lifted, I guess you're going to have to try to get booked everywhere.
Hook me up with promote. I'm more than happy to travel. I love traveling.
Getting back to Bret Hart, was he the first guy that you got hooked on, or
no? He wasn't. Believe it or not, Tatanka was.
No shit, that's odd.
Yeah, I turned on the TV randomly, which is how I fell in love with wrestling, and I see this guy with red mohawk with a tomahawk just run into the ring, and I'm like, "What is this?" And so I start watching the next week. Then Undertaker comes out.
Right.
I'm watching Superstars is what it was.
Yeah.
And then finally, I started watching week after week after week, and then Bret Hart became my guy.
So speaking of Superstars, I watched a podcast where they were doing Superstars watch-alongs, and speaking of Tatanka, they were kind of making fun of Tatanka for the whole Indian gimmick and all that, the Native American gimmick. Would that still play today, or do you think that's a little too stereotypical?
No, I think, if you do it the same way, no. But I think you could definitely. I have a friend that's actually Native American in the independent wrestling scene, and he promotes it, but he doesn't do like the headdress or anything like that. Right. But I think you could definitely, probably even more so, get a Native American gimmick over, as long as you're good about it. Don't be cheap about it or make fun of it, but do it the right way. And I think that's needed. I think gimmicks like that actually are needed for these kids with the different ethnicities, so they can look up to somebody. Hey, here's a hero just like me. Yeah. Because things like, we're doing the Black Lives Matter, and that's great, but you don't see a lot of that for Native Americans. And there's a bigger population than people realize.
Yes, there is. Joe Feeney says it's Thursdays thirsty or thirsty Thursdays. Don't judge me. Okay.
Oh, you were judged 20 minutes ago, Feeney.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Mike Durban says, we want you to visit the country of Africa.
Apparently. Do you actually live there, Mike? Or are you just really wanting to talk about
Africa? Hard on for Africa. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Bret Hart was a giant poon slayer. Yes, he was.
Yeah, well, hey.
I mean,
why can't we all be,
Chris Rodriguez wants to know, what did you think of the Hart A&E documentary? Did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I think it was well done. For me personally, and I'm not bragging, I just seen everything and read everything about Bret Hart ever. I really didn't learn anything new, except for maybe the things he mentioned that's going on in the past couple of years. But I've seen all his documentaries. I've read his books. It was well done, though. I thought it was good. I think it was nice to hear from certain members of his family that wouldn't normally speak out in a WWE documentary. True. So that part was cool. I thought it was well done.
What is up with their docs? I mean, some are good, some are bad. Like the Roddy Piper one was the biography was great, but the Macho Man sucked. I mean, they really buried him
until the end when they buried him for a half hour. It's just like, whoa, where did that come from?
Right.
I'm friends with, not best friends, but I know his brother, Lanny Poffo. Yeah. And he had some stuff to say about it. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he's not happy about it. I don't blame him at all.
And what the hell is Bubba the Love Sponge doing here? I mean, I know he's Hogan's boy, or was Hogan's. I don't even know anymore.
I don't know what.
Weird. The whole thing was weird anyway.
Yeah.
Chris also wants to know, did you hoot and holler and imitate Tatanka in the front yard?
I don't know. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I had to. Yeah. No doubt.
Feeney, you're killing me. Bruce Bridger just called, and he demanded JD stop insulting the WWE, or there'll be harsh consequences.
Dude, you realize 6 weeks ago I was turned in by WWE. They already don't like me.
Whoa, wait. Hold on. What happened?
Yeah, I was blocked and banned on Facebook because some comments I made on a podcast, and WWE actually reported me to Facebook, and because of the video, and they banned me.
Will he get a cease and desist? Yeah, that's dude. Really? Like, are they that petty?
I don't know, and it didn't give me much info. It just said you have been reported from WWE for violating their trademark.
Yeah, because Facebook won't do that unless the owner actually files a motion.
Yeah. Somebody did not like what I have to say.
How the hell who were you on? Like, oh, was that all right? Yeah, I know what you're on.
So that was about 6 weeks, 2 months ago. It was something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. I didn't think they paid attention to stuff like that.
I didn't either. Everybody's like, well, it's great. They paid attention to it. I'm like, well, no, it's not great. They obviously don't like me, so they banned me. That's not good.
Especially if you want to get in there at one point.
Yeah, like really? Like, no, I don't want them to not like me. Like
Scott Demore said JD overpaid for replica TNA belts. All right, he's just being a dick now.
It's called Impact, buddy.
That's right. Lanny Poffo is a great, good friend. I love Lanny.
Yeah.
I love watching. He's overseas, right? He's in some like tropical country or something.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where. It's been actually years since I've seen him face to face.
Yeah, I mean, I heard he was overseas, like living the dream, just completely unplugged from society, pretty much. Every now and then he gets on Facebook, but
super nice, super nice guy. Would have just to listen to it because it's funny. Have you ever met Lanny?
I have not met him personally.
It's so great because his voice is so much like Randy's.
Yeah.
But he'll go and he'll be talking to you and he has that boisterous, the same grumble, and tell stories about Randy from their childhood. And it's just, I could sit for 3-4 hours and listen to Lanny talk about his stories with his brother.
Yeah, me too. I wish Lanny could do a podcast like that. That would be that
awesome.
would be fun. Chris Karam says, I agree with JD that it's a good thing that kids of various ethnicities to have heroes they can look up to that look like them. No, for sure.
Absolutely.
We should see more of that. Oh God, Feeney's hijacking the show. Team JF.
I don't know who that is.
I don't think that's even a thing. It's coming from the Monster Factory to squash Team JD on a Fight TV taping in Kingston, Pennsylvania. Will you take the booking?
Team JF, Joe Feeney.
That makes sense. I didn't put the two together. I'm stupid.
It's fine.
Would you take a booking to take on Mr. Feeney?
You want to bring me and my guys into the Monster Factory? I'm more than happy. I got some connections down there, but I'm not going to make it happen. You want that fight? You make it happen.
This show sucks.
I hate it.
No, it is
one of the most fun things I've done in a long time.
I'm glad you're having fun, but I can't stay on topic because of these assholes in chat.
Right.
I'm just busting their balls. Well, I'm busting Joe's Feeney's balls, really.
Well, you should. He's a moron.
Yeah, he is. Getting back to the Montreal screw job.
Yeah.
Did you watch it live? Because I did.
Yes, I did watch that live.
Was your jaw dropping and hitting the floor? Because
I thought it was a work.
I thought it was a shoot. I mean, you thought it was a work?
I thought it was a work. How old was I in 97? I would have been 13 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know a lot about the business.
Okay. All right. I was a little bit older. I was about 20 when that happened. So.
Yeah. So I didn't know a lot about the business. I thought it was a work. I really did. And then obviously the next day, you're like, oh, geez, that wasn't, no.
Yeah, like he's gone. Like he's literally gone.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of Sean bringing the midget out the next night? Or sorry, the little person the next night?
I think that Sean at that time, I honestly, I think it's disrespectful. But I don't think he cared, honestly. But that was just Shawn Michaels at that time in 97. That's just who he was. But I know it got a lot of heat in the locker room. Not that Sean cared. He didn't care if he had heat. But a lot of people didn't like it. I know that.
Yeah, for sure. Does JD think he's the best Joe on this stream tonight?
I am the best Joe on the internet every night. Don't ever forget that, Mr. Rodriguez.
That is so good. I know someone who can walk Team JD to the ring. It would be huge and monumental. Yeah, well, hook us up, Eli. Let us know who that might be. Team JF are the 6-man tag champs. We took out Reckless Youth, Danny Dominion, and Johnny Cashmere.
That sounds like bad rock band names.
It really does, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't even know if those are real people. Did JD ever do a podcast with Vampiro?
No. Nope.
Have you ever had any dealings with him at all, or any?
I have not.
He's been out of the business for a while. I don't even think he takes bookings anymore.
Yeah,
but
no,
I don't know if you ever came across him in any of your years.
I haven't. I have not.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He looks crazy, but he's a good guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've worked with some names, but no, he's not one of them.
Gotcha. Did you realize he was spelling WCW at the time? When Bret did the whole.
You know what? It's funny. No, I didn't. No, I didn't when I watched it live. I don't know if I just didn't pay attention or what. It's very clear when you watch it back. But yeah, no, I actually did not catch that when it happened.
Would JD ever go on the Husey and Disco podcast?
Yeah.
Joe's open for any podcast, really. I mean, why not put your name out there? I mean, why would you not?
If you love me and you put me on a podcast, we'll have a lot of fun. If you hate me and put me on a podcast, we'll get a lot of ratings.
That's true. That's true. These guys are killing. All right, Feeney. Somebody put Feeney to bed, please. He's out of control. I'm not going to put his comments up anymore. Go to bed, Joe.
Oh, you got grounded, JF?
Yeah. Well, I got some heat with him anyway, but that's beside the point. Most people do. Eli says, "What adult?" Yeah, no, Feeney is adult. Absolutely right. Getting back to Bret Hart as we wrap up the show. How much time you got, man? You want to go all night? We can do 3, 4. You want to do?
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, we're at an hour, a little bit over, so we'll probably start wrapping up here a little bit.
All right. Yeah, my wife's probably gonna get pissed and give me the go home to you anyway. Yeah. So does Jay? Oh, I forgot. I'm not gonna put his comment. Don't disregard that.
I didn't see it. So
no, you don't want to. You don't want to see it. Eli, you spelled idiot wrong. All right, these guys are just talking to each other now. No, Joe. God, I hit the
Hey, if he wants, I didn't see the question. He wants a question. You can ask it.
Does JD ever have any rats pay for his rental cars or motel rooms? He's a married man, Feeney. Jesus, what's wrong with you?
Yes. All right.
As a Bret Hart fan, did JD ever get the coveted pink visor ringside?
I don't want to talk about it. No, I didn't. However, I do have a framed picture and sunglasses autographed to me from Bret.
Oh, damn.
And it's unique because it's not just to my name. My screen name, well, ever since screen names have been a thing, was always Hitman Joe.
Okay.
So I got him to autograph it to Hitman Joe, Bret Hart.
Gotcha.
So that's one of my favorite pieces. But I never got him at ringside.
How'd you get hooked up with that one?
They were doing, he was doing a contest on his fan page. My gosh, this had to be 10 years ago, probably. Mm-hmm. Where you put in, your best, your favorite Bret Hart story, why you like Bret Hart. I don't remember what it was. And he picked 10 people that would get those for free. And he liked my story, and I was one of the 10.
Dude, that is so cool. Especially being like a lifelong fan of his. Like, there's nothing cooler than that.
It was very cool. Yeah. I got a couple cool autographed Bret Hart pieces.
Feeney says, "Get the his hook up. I know all the Western PA Rizats." Okay.
Yeah, well, that's nothing to brag about there, bud.
Not really. Did you ever meet New Jack?
I did not. No, I did not.
I didn't either. Well, actually, I lie. Sorry. God, my memory escapes me. The same convention I met Marty Jannetty, New Jack was there. He had
all
kinds of, he had a suit and tie. He had this watch on. He made me take a picture of it. It was like this giant gold, like diamond watch or whatever. Like,
nice.
He was, he actually grabbed the house mic there and started shouting all kinds of expletives and like kind of going into like a little bit of a stand-up role or whatever. And there's kids there, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, dropping MFers and F-bombs everywhere and GDs, and I'm like, oh, good Lord. He's a crazy dude.
Sounds like New Jack. I know when he passed away, I'm in a group, Facebook group with his wife. And so she was putting things on there about just some of his antics, but how he was really a loving guy, as crazy as he was, right? I guess just, he had a good heart to him. It's just, he was a character.
He was.
Say that.
Midnight Mike had a table next to New Jack. Were you at that convention, Mike? If you were, and I didn't know you back then, but that's kind of coincidental. I know Mike's from my old stomping grounds around Connecticut too. Is JD coming to MLW in Philly?
Well, that's interesting. I was planning on it.
Okay.
And we are still working on details. I will. I can't say anything else other than that. But yeah, that's all I can say.
Well, if Feeney's going to be there, maybe we should have a camera crew rolling there, and maybe something will happen.
That's July 10th, I believe.
Interesting. Would JD say he's more of a Cornette or a JJ Dillon?
Oh, that's
a really good question, actually.
That is a good question. I can be both, I think. If you get me like all hyped up, I'm Cornette, but my calculation and ringside prowess and probably like business side, I'm a Dillon.
That makes sense. And it's good to have qualities of both anyway. Yeah. I mean, obviously we know you can talk, but at least you're smart as well, and you're not just a talking head.
No, you gotta have brain. What he'd always say: if you don't have the brains, you don't got blah blah blah. You know, whatever his promo was.
Serious question. Okay, Feeney has a serious question now. Let's hold on. What were indie shows like during the pandemic? Did you work any outlaw shows?
Of course, I didn't. No, but we did. What we did do was TV tapings. They were completely legal. We did not have fans, but we did do tapings with no fans. All the safety protocols were in place. The pandemic was interesting for myself and my team because I knew guys were going to start taking breaks because they couldn't have shows. So that's when we pushed harder because I knew we'd get the notoriety. And and I'll be real honest, if not for the pandemic, we would no way have the traction we have right now.
Well, I mean, it's cool, right? So, I mean, at least you're able to be a little, be productive during the whole thing when not many other people were. So,
yeah. And I don't blame them. I get it.
No, yeah.
I saw an opportunity. I'm sorry. I take it when I see them.
Yeah. Why not? Hold on. Joe says I'm starting to like this guy. Well, good. You're
that's how it works. Why do you think I'm everywhere I want to be? Is people hate me at first, and then within 30, 45 minutes, they love me.
That's fair. I've liked you from the beginning. So I mean,
well, there you go. You're one of the few, but I appreciate it.
No, I'm thinking of becoming a Team JD member if there's roster spots open.
We got a T-shirt for you if you make that decision. Free and clear. I'll ship that right out to you.
I like that. What does JD think of military grade style haircuts for his Team JD members? You don't discriminate, right?
I mean, I guess they can have whatever hair they want. I mean, if they look like trash, I tell them. Tony Toxic walks around with his beard like he's a homeless man. So I tell him he needs to trim it up. But I mean, we'll make their look work. Just look on point. Whatever your look is, look good. That's the point. You got to represent yourself the right way.
That's true. Looks like you may have a hater in chat. Your Team JD banner is in your grandma's living room. It's an outstanding set. Kudos. Yeah,
no.
I don't know. I don't know.
No. This is Team JD headquarters.
Would JD be interested in bringing Conan in for a seminar?
I mean, I'm not a promoter, but I have no issue.
You should be though. I mean, have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that because I actually have some stuff in the works coming up. But I mean, I like.
Well, maybe I just had a premonition, or maybe just because
maybe that's all it was.
That's smooth.
Maybe.
Joe Feeney says he still doesn't like me. Well, that's fair. You could suck it, Joe.
He doesn't like you either, Joe.
Yeah. If given the opportunity tomorrow to be on TV, would JD burn his Bret Hart collection? Okay, that's a great question. So let's just say, hey, pal, why don't you come up here and do TV for me? But you got to get rid of that goddamn Bret Hart stuff, pal. Would you do it?
In a heartbeat.
Nice.
Wouldn't be a second. It wouldn't be a choice.
I don't blame you. I mean,
I can get the Bret Hart stuff again.
Well, that is very true. Does anybody else have any more questions other than Joe Feeney as we wrap it up here? I do want to have you back on again, Joe. I'm off because this has been an absolute blast.
This was really fun. I like when we can go, because every interview I do and every podcast, which I love, it's all about wrestling.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. But this was fun because there was fan interaction. We got off topic on things that aren't wrestling related, which I like people knowing that stuff about me too. So I've had a blast, man.
Well, I'm glad. And that's kind of, my whole purpose for doing this show is I don't want to be a cookie cutter podcast. I don't want to be like everybody else because there's so many fan podcasts out there. I'm in a unique position to where the Hameen Media Group came to me. Ben Hameen is the leader of the group. He was trained in OVW. He's been around a long time. He is a fantastic mind for the business. Him and his guys heard my show, and they liked it so much because, they didn't want to have any marks on their network. But, they enjoyed my work enough. They knew that it wasn't just some typical neckbeard indie schmuck. Sorry, not indie schmuck. Let me take that back. I don't want to get any heat from, you know what I mean? Though,
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Yeah. The AEW fans that live in their mom's basements. But, so, because I set myself out from everybody else, that's where I attract more people because it's not just the standard. Because we could have gone over your whole history. Hey, what'd you do as a kid? I asked you a little bit of that. I sprinkled some of that in. But then, I don't like to stay on topic. I like to have organic conversations. I don't want this to be a straight formatted show. You know what I mean? That's usually the best conversations are ones that just happen organically or with the people in the chat here.
Yeah,
so.
it was an absolute blast, and I really hope we can do it again. Absolutely.
Let's just wrap up some of the. Absolutely, yeah, we will for sure. Yeah. Let's wrap up some of the questions here. Did JD ever work with the great Clutch Adams?
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
I don't know either.
Okay,
is JD a Meltzer or a Keller fan? Whose sheet does JD read as the Bible?
Not really. I don't really read sheets. I have my subscription to PWI, which I know is not a sheet. I just don't. The only place, if I ever do want to get into a sheet, I'll go to Lords of Pain. .com. Because I like them, but I'm not a dirt sheet guy. Just not.
I wasn't either. I never was. Like when the internet first came out, I got into Scoop Central.
Okay, yeah.
By Al Isaacs. And it's so funny. I actually got to talk to Al last year, like 20 years later. Never, I did a couple of freelance pieces for him for his website, but he was one of the go-tos back then. And through the modern miracle of technology, I was able to get him on the video chat and talk to him. He's awesome. It's amazing, right? Like how things come full circle. But he was a really, really cool dude. Would you consider adding Miss Priscilla to your stable? I don't know who that is.
That it does sound familiar to me. I'd have to do some research if I'm being honest. That name, I don't know why that name sounds familiar. Maybe I'm crazy.
I don't know either. Does JD have Comcast or Spectrum?
Spectrum.
I've heard Spectrum sucks. I've heard a lot of people.
That's all. That's the only option we got. That's the only option we got here. Yeah.
You have spotty coverage with them, or you lose internet signal?
No, it's good. It's just expensive.
That's what I've heard too. But yeah, I heard a lot of people bitch about Spectrum. Does JD know if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you just stop? It's that easy. I actually mentioned that earlier, Mike.
We talked about that.
Yeah. You can catch the video on demand if you missed any of that. Spectrum sucks. All right, I'm done with these guys. Joe, I appreciate you being here, brother. I really do. Let everybody know where they can find you. I know you don't have a Twitter, but plug your Facebook. Any promotions? You got any bookings coming up? I'll give you
we're all over. Facebook, I'm easy to find. Joe Davis. I got a fan page and the regular page, my personal page. I actually have my own website, www.imwithdavis.com. So you can check me out there. Instagram, I believe it's Joe Davis 2484, if I'm not mistaken. If you see a picture of me, you did it right. We got shows, man. July 10th, I'm going to be booked somewhere. Okay. We got a couple of options there. July 17th, I make my debut at PPW, which is kind of a breeding ground for current Impact and AEW people. So that's exciting. I won't go through all my dates, but we got dates July, August. If you are in PA or New York, it's pretty likely myself or members of my team will be at an indie show. We're going to make our way every place we can get to. So check it out and always send me a message. Shoot me an email, joe@imwithdavis.com. Probably won't respond. I'm a busy guy, but go ahead and give it a shot.
He probably won't accept your friend request either. Oh, no, that's Feeney.
Especially not Feeney.
Yeah, no, he's I love you too, Rob. Thank you. Whatever. One more thing here. Lords of Pain. Okay, I'm fully a JD fan. Another member of Team JD. Thank you, Chris Rodriguez.
I love it.
That was his homepage for a bit. Yeah, I was into
cool.
them. I was into them too. So,
awesome.
Well, Joe, again, I appreciate you being here, brother.
Yeah.
You know, you're a fun guy to talk to. You're a nice guy. You're a great guy.
Thank you. You as well.
Nothing but love. But we'll definitely have to come back here and do this. It's a retro show. We don't, like you said, we don't have to talk about wrestling next time either. If you have a favorite topic from the 80s or 90s, we can just get you on and chop it up.
Cool. I love it, man. Looking forward to it.
Guys, thank you for being here in the chat. We had a very, very live and lively crowd tonight. So I do appreciate everybody being here, hanging out with us and being interactive. Lots of crazy, wacky, fun questions.
I bring that out in people, Rob. I apologize.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah. So I have you to blame for that. Then.
Yeah, you do.
Guys, we'll be back next week for another edition of RTW Rewind. Thank you, everybody, here on the HMG YouTube page. This audio will drop a week from this Sunday. So we are looking at July 1st. No, sorry, July 4th. Yeah, fuck. If I pull up a calendar, that might actually help. July 20th, June. What the fuck?
Yeah, we're in June, buddy.
I think I've been doing whatever drugs Feeney's been doing. So
yeah, you should just quit.
I should. June 27th is when the audio version will drop. But I'll give you the link for this YouTube page, Joe, if you want to plug it out there and promote it.
I will, brother.
We'll get your name around. So thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks.
See you later, man.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us here on HMG. That was a fun night. That was a really good show. That was huge and monumental. So I do appreciate everybody stopping by. We had a real lively group here tonight, more than we usually do. So I don't know if it's me that's a draw or if it's JD. I mean, who knows? We'll have to see. The show's over, Feeney. The show's over, brother. You can go home now. Please lead us all in prayer. Okay. No, that's not going to happen. Joe's on mushrooms. That makes sense. Guys, seriously, I appreciate y'all being here. Feeney, Chris Rodriguez. Hey, Big Josh, you showed up late. We're going off the air. Mike Durban, Get My Go. Sonic was here. Chris Karam, Midnight Mike. Anybody else I missed? We had a bunch of new names tonight too. So I love the fact that we're growing the audience too. So you guys are fantastic. Again, this audio will drop a week from this Sunday. Joe Feeney's presence true. That's accurate. I mean, you are the producer of the stars, right? You know, you're Conrad. That's Wanglish. You're Conrad's lackey. So I do understand as well. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Rad Rob Gaming.
Yeah, pal.
You can also follow me on Instagram at the same address. I'm a Twitch gaming streamer. I'm a retro gaming streamer. I stream every Tuesday night and Saturday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, 5 Pacific on twitch.tv/Rad Rob Gaming. I also have a YouTube channel, which is a gaming channel. It is called Rad Rob Gaming. If you want to check out my other podcast with the Ocho, it drops every Thursday morning on the Rad Rob Radio Network or anywhere podcasts are found. It is RTW Main Event. That's where we barely talk wrestling. It's just an hour and a half, pretty much comedy show where we just do whatever we want. So if you're a fan of stupid shows, then you definitely want to check that out. And RTW Rewind is also here every single week in audio form for your ear hole pleasure, whatever you're into. Right here on HMG affiliate feed or the Rad Rob Radio Network. Eli's here too. Eli, my wonderful producer, Eli, who never produces my show. Thank you for showing up. Now, he's my logo guy too. He did some logos in the past for those other guys there, man. But mine are much better. So, guys, appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate you guys. So we'll see you next time. Next Wednesday is Chad, the Chadster from the two-man power trip. Eyes Up Here with Francine. Chadster will be here talking about the 86 Mets music video. While 86 is not a favorite year of mine as a Red Sox fan, thanks to the Mets, he promised me that we will not talk about the outcome of that season. It'll just be the music video. So if Chad lies, that's really gonna get my go. So we'll see what happens there. So we got lots of great shows lined up for you guys coming up here in the next few weeks. Just keep your eyes right here on HMG YouTube or subscribe to us on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it. So good night, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening, and we will see you next time. Peace out.